Forgiveness. This is something that is encouraged in all religions, philosophies, ways of life, self-help programs. And really, it is a very, very important part of living well, of living with inner peace and serenity. We are coming up on the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, where we ask God for forgiveness, but many people, even who are not religious here in Israel, or Jewish people, will use this time as a time of introspection, of maybe making a self-inventory, about the past year, the coming year, as this is around the Jewish New Year. So this is a very fitting time to talk about forgiveness. And, I find many times, especially when it comes to my clients, and I have experienced this myself, that we are very quick to forgive other people, maybe, especially around eating, like, if we see somebody else, we say, oh, especially if you know about food addiction and how it affects the brain. So we'll be very forgiving of when we see other people maybe eating in a harmful way, and we'll say, it's not their fault. And yet, even after knowing about, how it's not our fault or whatever, when somebody slips or thinks about their past, about how they behaved with their food, it's very, very hard for them to forgive themselves. And I think that this is a very critical step for people who really want to recover from food addiction, and actually any addiction, and actually anything, anybody who really wants to move forward from a harmful behavior or way that they harm themselves and wants to move forward from it. Part of it is forgiving yourself. And this sometimes isn't easy. And sometimes it actually takes some help, even professional help or therapy, what have you. But especially when it comes to being addicted to sugary, starchy, hyper-processed foods, we have to remember that we live in an environment that is so hard for people recovering from food addiction. Our environment really, really affects a lot how we behave. So, and also, it's a brain disorder. I like to call it a disorder rather than a disease, but addiction is a brain disorder. It is a biochemical imbalance. It also has to do with emotions and our social environment, absolutely. But it's really, really the way to move forward is just to forgive ourselves. I always say, we're not perfect. Humans are not perfect. I go to a 12-step program. We always say there is a God. It's not me. And stop being so hard on ourselves when it comes to, especially to food, because really, really, it's not easy. I have to tell you that I have spoken to people who have been addicted to drugs, alcohol, and food. And pretty much all of them that I've spoken to have said that recovering from food addiction was the hardest for them. So please be soft on yourself. Forgive yourself. This is the way to move forward. But forgiving yourself does not mean you're not responsible. You forgive yourself for your past and be responsible for your future. Do what you can, what you know. Put yourself and your self-care first. That is your responsibility from now on. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Take responsibility and do what you think or know, or what your, what we say, what your recovery mind, what your real you is, you know what you should be doing. And if you find that you're not able to do it, it's really, really important to ask for help. So yes, let's be forgiving at this time of year. And let's first forgive ourselves and then take responsibility and move forward. Thank you for listening to today's ZIPPI Live, and I'll see you next week on Mondays at 7, unless this is during the holidays where our times are changing. So stay tuned.